I need to talk about something today that's well, it's difficult for me to discuss. It's about something I did that confuses me. I don't understand it. It doesn't seem like something that I would do, but I did this thing, and I did a similar sort of thing a few years ago, and I don't want to talk about that incident, but all right, let me just tell you what happened. So last week we had this staff meeting via conference call. You know, people from all over the country call in, and during the meeting, I was aware. I mean, you know, when you bring something up and you're gonna ask a question, or you're trying to do something helpful, do it in a positive way, but really you're like secretly you have another motivation. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I was doing to Jim during that meeting. I don't understand why I did it. Jim's a friend of mine, but I kept bringing it up that maybe the boss ought to talk to Jim because, you know, Jim wasn't following the instructions for the new mandate, you know, and I just said, maybe you should check in with Jim, just so that he understands the new mandate.
Was Jim there at the conference call?
No, he was out on assignment. Mm-hmm. And I knew that he hadn't been there the week before to get the instructions, you know, the rationale for the new mandate. In a way, I was trying to be helpful, but secretly I knew that I had another motivation. That's what bothers me, and I don't know why I did it.
Well, what was the other motivation that you're referring to?
I guess I wanted him to look bad, you know? And that was really strange because he's one of my buddies, you know? And another buddy at the meeting pulled me aside and said, wow, you really threw Jim under the bus. And that's when it hit me, you know? I hadn't completely registered what I had said, and then Larry said, well, Larry repeated all the other things I said in the meeting. I had no recollection of them whatsoever. I was shocked. I didn't remember saying any of those things at all.
What did he say you had said?
I don't know. I can't even remember now. But it gets worse. Jim found out what I'd said and got really angry, and I tried calling him. He wouldn't take any of my phone calls. And then later that week, Jim and Larry and I had a meeting together. You know, it was a scheduled business meeting. And when I saw Jim, I kept apologizing, saying, I'm sorry. And then Jim started questioning me, like, why I said it. And I said, I don't know. He told me Larry had told him everything that I'd said. I still can't even remember what I said. He just kept asking me, why'd you do it? I said, I don't know. I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm glad we talked. I think we're okay now.
How do you know that?
Well, he gave me a hug, and, you know, we shook hands, and he said, don't worry about it. We're all under a lot of stress right now. I understand.
So I'm wondering how you're feeling right now telling me all of this.
Well, I feel fine. You know, a little confused, but I'm a little sad.
Anything else?
No. Why do you ask?
Well, generally people don't have this much trouble remembering something that they said less than a week ago if they're just feeling sad or confused. You know, particularly when someone reports that you said it more than once. Doesn't little strange? I mean, it's not like you to not remember things.
I know. I mean, that's what's so confusing.
Well, I'm taking a guess, but I'm wondering if maybe you don't remember because you're feeling ashamed about it, perhaps, or maybe even a little embarrassed to tell me about it.
I thought shame was taboo. Shame was something you're not supposed to feel, something you're supposed to fight against.
Where did you get that idea?
I don't know. Just something I read, I guess.
Well, shame is one of the most uncomfortable feelings we can feel. But I think all of us would be a little ashamed if we were aware we had treated a friend badly, even if we don't understand why we did it.
Yeah. I guess I do feel really, really badly about it. I don't understand why I did it.
Well, it doesn't sound like something you would do consciously or intentionally. But you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking that 2 weeks ago, you were telling me about the change in leadership at your organization, and everybody got the pay cuts, and like you said everybody was told they should be thankful that they still have jobs. You took that pretty hard. We talked about that. That was very devaluing and how underappreciated you felt. Remember? So I'm wondering if you may have tried to unconsciously align yourself with your new boss by reminding him that you are aware of the new mandate by pointing out that Jim might not be aware of it. He hadn't been following orders. I wonder if unconsciously you were trying to regain your status in some way?
Oh my God. I was feeding the monster.
What do you mean?
This new guy, this new boss, he's a hatchet man. Everybody knows it. He's brutal. He takes pleasure in making people feel like, they're worthless. And I just tossed him a bone. My friend. What kind of person am I, huh? I sacrificed my friend to please my boss?
Well, let's try to slow these feelings down. See, here's where shame is beginning to surface. Let's just see if we can understand this a little bit better. You don't have to beat yourself up with your shame. It's a pretty understandable response when people are being devalued by their superiors. Right? It makes your behavior even more understandable given your family background.
What do you mean?
Well, both your mother and father humiliated you. And your brothers as well in different ways. You told me your father physically abused you, verbally abused your oldest brother, and you often witnessed that abuse. I remember you said your mother told you repeatedly how ashamed she was of you. Especially when you weren't living up to her standards.
Yes, but I hated it. And I vowed I would never do that to other people.
And you haven't been, really. Not like they were. But witnessing that kind of abuse, you had to witness it. It happened. And shaming to the point that an adult is trying to break a child's spirit leaves deep scars. I wonder if it feels a little bit like this, the boss is trying to do this to you at work.
Yeah.
So back when you were a child, you survived by feeding the monster.
I always tried to please my father, live up to his standards. I became the smartest one in my family, and that's how I was able to eventually escape. I fed his ego. I let him brag about me, take all the credit, until I was old enough to get out of there. I never knew all this stuff was still in there. I never, ever would have put that together, you know? I mean, what happened with my father and what's going on with our new boss is... I think I need to tell Jim what we talked about today, and I think I owe it to him.